Hey everybody, I always wanted to be a YouTube car guy, so here it goes. I'm sitting in my Saturn, and I wanted to show you my shifting problem. I ordered a new valve body, and it just got here. So that's going to be today's project. Let me see if I can't reproduce my shifting problem for you. I'll just fire her up. Hope she starts. Oh, no problem. Okay. So my problem starts when the car is cold, and we got some snow today, so I'm hoping, I'm just holding this, so if we drive, we accelerate a little, and there we go, we just gear shifted. So now, usually in a short little while, it'll slip out of gear, and usually it just goes down a gear. So I think I'm in third right now. It would shift to second. Of course, it never happens on film. So anyway, the problem started when we were in Wisconsin, and it was minus 45 degrees Fahrenheit about 2 years ago, 2 and a bit years ago. And it happened once as we were driving. I pulled over and I put it in park, and I put it back in drive, and I drove off, and it didn't happen again for the whole trip. Since then, it progressively started happening more, and I've done a whole lot of troubleshooting, and nobody else has had this problem. At least that I can... There, it just happened right there. So now it's up a gear. Or, I guess down a gear. And it gets stuck here. It won't shift at all until it warms up enough, and there we go. It just downshifted. I suppose I should have taken you on the interstate, because it seems to happen there when I'm at higher speeds a little faster, but I have to run to AutoZone, so this is where we get to go. So then it went away, actually. The problem went away. All that summer, I didn't have any problems. I thought it was just a weird little fluke. And then winter came around, and it started happening again once in a while. And then summer came around. It went away completely again. And I was like, well, it's a winter problem, I guess. But now, after this last winter, it started happening more and more, and for longer and longer, and now it's still happening this summer. I don't think the transmission is actually slipping. I think it's the valve body shifting incorrectly, because it doesn't feel like it slips. So anyway, I have super bad luck working with transmissions. I've done one before. I've removed and replaced the transmission out of a 96 Bravada, four-wheel drive. It was a bitch of a job, and then when I got it all back together, it didn't work. It didn't shift correctly, and it was a junkyard transmission. So I took it to a transmission shop, because it was on me at that point. The transmission shop guy bent my drive shaft on his lift. He wouldn't fess up to it, but my drive shaft was bent like a motherfucker, so... And I know I didn't do it, because I drove it to the transmission shop, and it was smooth. So, the drive shaft was bent. Driving it home, the transfer case cracked from all the vibration. So I had to get a transfer case and replace that, too. But the tranny shop guy, he did fix my shifting problem, so I guess I got what I paid for. I'm trying to get a helping hand, and the guy fucks me over out of another $1,000. Anyway, so I'm taking the transmission out of this thing if I can help it. I'm just doing the valve body, but something tells me it's going to be harder than it looks like it's going to be. Saturn SL2, the valve body is accessible from the top. You just need to take out a bunch of shit to get to it. Nothing too difficult. I'm a little nervous about having to remove the master cylinder, the brake cylinder. I've never done that before. Brakes kind of scare me because they're very important for stopping. But yeah, so I'm gonna go into AutoZone in a sec and pick up some parts that I ordered for a different car, and maybe I'll cut to the action when we get there. Okay. Alright, so here she is, my meticulously cared for engine. The valve body cover, you can't see it yet, it's right down under there. So you gotta take out the airbox, the battery tray, and I might even have to remove the master cylinder. I'm not too sure yet, but we'll figure it out. You might be interested, I ran a compression test yesterday. I got, on this cylinder, I got, I think, like 140 PSI dry. And then I put some oil in there, and I got up to like 200. This cylinder was at like 190, and I put some oil in there, and it went up to like 290. So, I don't think this car has a hell of a lot longer to live. But she's my baby. I like working on cars. I promised my wife I wouldn't put any more money into it if I did the valve body and my transmission problem didn't get fixed. So, I'll start working on getting this stuff apart, and if I run into any troubles, I'll make sure to let you guys know. So I got it off, I got everything out. There's the cover that needs to come out. It's held on by bolts, the plug goes through the top, and the valve body that I'm replacing is right under there. The master cylinder here, well, this is the master cylinder, this is your ABS, is a little bit in the way, so I might have to loosen it back there to see if I can wiggle it out of the way. I'd really prefer not to take it off. I don't know how to put it back together. But I noticed something interesting while I was down here. I believe this is the coolant temperature sensor for the transmission. It's leaking, and this wire is all frayed up like crazy. And then it goes down to another sensor out there. I was already thinking I might replace the filter. I didn't buy one while I was at AutoZone just now because I didn't know if it was inside the pan or a canister. Looks like it's a canister. Looks like I can replace that. I think I might have actually replaced it once since I've owned the vehicle. But since I'm having transmission problems and I'm replacing the valve body, I think I might as well go ahead. Alright, here we go. I took the hood off because I bumped my head one too many times and I couldn't see what I was doing. So, here it is, the transmission. It actually looks like it's in pretty good shape, at least from what I can see up here, which is not a whole lot. But, I just need to put it back together now. Something's going on with this. You gotta figure out how that goes back together now. I got a little paper instruction manual, so hopefully, once I get to about this, but I want to close this up right away so that that bastard up there doesn't come in my transmission. I mean, my tranny. How well you can see it, but right here is the manual valve moving in and out on that wire. I got Taylor just checking that it moves correctly, and it looks like it's all good. So there it is, new valve body, torqued in already. I'm just gonna, okay, all good. Just gonna clean this cover up. It's pretty clean on the inside. Clean the gasket up, and then I'll put that all together. And then I'll start thinking about this sensor. I have a pigtail that I could replace this with, but I don't know if I want to worry, like, solder in there. I think I'd have to solder it. So that's what's on my mind right now. You know, I usually like working on other people's cars because when I need them to clean something, I just say, hey, it's your car, clean this up good enough to put back on your car. It's never as good as I would have done it, but I don't have to do it. I thought I'd show you my toolbox. It's a Cobalt set that I got at Black Friday, and I like it. It's like fully equipped. I can just come out and pull the trays out and set them out and get to work. This storage space up here is good enough for everything I do. And sometimes I rent tools. I rented a torque wrench for this gig. But for the most part, I can do just about anything. And Inside I got a bigger Craftsman wrench set for the larger sizes of wrenches, box wrenches and open-ended wrenches. This one just comes with some smaller sizes. This thing broke, or this broke right here. I just glued it, super glue, today. It's kind of like notch fit in there, so I just glued it. Hopefully that'll never break on me again. And Diet Coke. All my car repairs are fueled by Diet Coke. I wanted to mention something that I just kind of always do. Put my hat back on, by the way. I always chock the tires in the back. See that? See that right there? I always chock the tires in the back because my driveway is kind of down slanted. And actually we just had a situation doing our little gear tester. Taylor was cycling it through the gears, and when we went into neutral, she rolled back, which, you know, I guess should have been expected. And I got the brake cylinder disconnected, so the brakes don't work. So that could have been trouble, but I chocked the tires, so no harm done. Alright, so it's as clean as I think I want to get it. You remember how bad it was before? This gasket kind of has me a little nervous. I feel like I should change it, but I don't want to change it, so fuck it. I'm just going to put it in. And those are my famous last words of the project. Alright, there's the cover. I got all the bolts just finger tight, using my handy dandy stacked extension, and now I'm going to hit them with the torque wrench. Instructions say 89 inch-pounds. You can't read that at all, can you? So I'm just going to torque them down, and then the tranny is sealed up. Okay, so I got the master cylinder reattached. Just 2 screws, but they're not tight yet. So note to self, don't forget to tighten those. So then this guy, this plug, I don't know if you can see it. Sorry, I'm really bad at film, as you can obviously tell. Yeah, there we go. Just plugs in. And then, sorry, I didn't put my wrench together yet. Then you just zip her down. Oh. Get it started first, I guess. There we go. Oh, it's a little hard to do all this stuff while you're filming. I got deep respect for all them YouTube car guys now. Of course, I think they have like tripods and shit. So, okay, I feel it snugging up. I'm not sure how tight to go, but I doubt it needs to go very tight. So I think I'm gonna go just a little tighter than that. And that's it. The celebratory moment. The transmission valve body is complete. I'm gonna start thinking about that sensor. I'm gonna start thinking about doing the transmission fluid while I got it open too. Figure new valve body deserves some new fluid. I did the fluid one time before, I think. I don't even think I opened this up though to do the filter. And it was clean, but I remember that the drain plug has a chip in it, which destroyed the little special ass O-ring they got on there. You know, it's always a special one. So I had to go to a dealer and buy it. And I checked when I did it. It's sealed, but I'm afraid that if I try to undo it, it's going to tear it again, and then I'll have to go and buy another $20 O-ring. But we'll see. I'm going to try it, I guess. Why not? So I just looked up in my manual what the torque spec is for the master cylinder to booster, and it's 20 foot-pounds, and that is 24 inch-pounds. And guess what? This only goes up to 200 inch-pounds. So I'm going to get it to 200 inch-pounds, and then I'm going to go a little further. So there's the transmission fluid plug. If it comes into focus ever, you'll be able to see how gummed up it is, and it's because the transmission case where this screws into is chipped. It's right on the bottom of the car, so it's not too surprising. I'll see if I can get a shot of that, especially the way I drive this motherfucker. It's not too surprising it's bottomed out. We'll see if I can get a shot of that if I feel like it later, but I don't want to hang out under the car trying to get a shot in the dark. So I problem solved a little bit, and I just got a second O-ring that fits closely around the post. I'm just going to screw that motherfucker real tight and hope it doesn't leak. I'm not going to crawl under there with the camera. Sorry, guys. I'm running low on daylight here, but I'd like to show you what I'm trying to do. I've got a plug that I grabbed from the junkyard a couple days ago because these plugs go bad commonly. I put a new temperature sensor in already, and now I'm just replacing the pigtail. So I've already soldered this wire here. The way I'm doing it, here's the old plug. I cut it off pretty close, but you can see the red wires on the left and the black wires on the right. So now as I look here, the black wire's on the left. That means it needs to go on to the red wire, which I did. It's just really dirty, you can't really tell. So then the yellow wire is on the right, so that needs to go into the black wire, which I'm about to solder now. Then I'll hit these two joints with the heat gun. Got the other piece of shrink tubing right there. Hit them with the heat gun, throw this over the top of both of them, and hopefully this plug is good. If it's not good, then you just repeat the process. Cut, try a new plug. It sucks, but you know, hopefully this will last the life of the car and I won't have to worry about it again. There's no faster way for me to lose respect for you than if I watch you melt heat shrink tubing with your soldering iron. Get a heat gun. It only takes like 2 seconds. It's like 1,000,000 times faster than melting it with, and that's all it takes. And then you're done, and you don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to shoot through soldering iron tips. Because, I mean, my soldering iron is a piece of junk, but it's lasted me 10 years, and I've never replaced the tip. Okay, 5 years, because I moved and I had to get a new one. So it's lasted me 5 years, and I've never had to Shit. It's lasted me 5 years, and I've never had to get a new tip. So only about 2 quarts of tranny fluid came out, so I just put 2 quarts back in. That seems a little low to me, so I think I'm going to have to add some more after I start it. Okay, I got the air box and the battery tray back in. All I have left is the air intake, the resonator box, which just pins right here. I lost the pin when I first got the car, and once I got this apart, I actually found it on top of the valve cover, so I have that pin again. So that's pretty cool. So let me just throw her together, and then we'll start her up. We'll start it up together, I guess. Okay, I got everything together. This guy has just been floating in here for years and years. So now, fixed. That little pin flew up here sometime when I was working on it. So I got everything back together, except for the battery terminals, still loose. But I'll screw them on and then I'll fire it up with you guys. The moment of truth. So sometimes the fuel pressure is a little low on this thing. It takes a sec. And I'm just gonna turn the key on and off a few times. Some kind of clicking. Vroom vroom! I'm gonna crawl under there and make sure it's not pissing tranny fluid out right now because of that O-ring fix. Alright, so I'm just gonna hold the brake, shift it through the gears quick. That wasn't so bad. So I was expecting it to shift a little strangely because the fluid's been drained and it's got a new valve body, so the fluid's got to get through all the passages. Once I'm able to drive it, I'm going to take it to a shop tomorrow and have them reset the adaptive transmission so that I can reteach it. And that's a required procedure every time you change the valve body so that the computer can relearn how to shift. Oh, come on, little guy. So it's in drive right now. It's having a little hard time with the idle. I think that'll be fixed once I reset the computer. Now I'm in D3. D2. It's kind of hard to shift down to D2. Hard to move the stick, I mean. D3 again. Didn't rev up like crazy that time. D. Neutral. Gets back to a normal idle. A little fast yet. Reverse. I can't even tell if reverse just engaged. And park. Well, I'm gonna check the fluid now and see if it's obviously low. You're only supposed to check the fluid if it's parked up to operating temperature. So I'm gonna check the fluid. If it's obviously low, I'm not on a flat surface. Like I said earlier, my shit is sloped. So I'll try and reverse out of here and check it. But if it's obviously low right now, then I'll top it up. Okay. Seems to be idling a little better. The temperature's a little higher now. So I checked the fluid. It was about, it wasn't even on the dipstick. So I added a quart. And then it was just barely kissing the dipstick. So I added another 2 funnelfuls or so. And then I'm going to run it through now and see if it feels like... See, that time it felt like reverse clicked in. It didn't do that the last couple times we tried, and I bet that's because the fluid was too low. Okay, here's drive. Feels like it's engaged. Yeah, if I let off the brake, I can feel it trying. Oh, that was neutral. So what was I feeling? There we go, driving forward a little. Look at that. Brake. Seems to work, I hope. I'm going to be real careful until I'm able to test that. 3 doesn't change. That's expected because we're in drive, right? So 2. It feels like that crispiness is just because of my shifter being gummed up. My car is pretty filthy. I should give it a good bit of cleaning. Back to park. Loop-de-loop the gears. You could definitely feel that reverse click in. Didn't slam. Was a little bit rough. Back to neutral, a little bit rough. Back to drive. It didn't slam, but it jerked, that's for sure. Everything will smooth out once the adaptives are set. 3 and 2. Yeah, now that I've moved that shifter a few times through the range, 2's not sticking. Doesn't feel bad anymore. I'm thinking that I want to add a transmission treatment. I was going to, when I went to O'Reilly's, I was going to pick some up, but I forgot. Since I need to take this thing for a test drive anyway, and it's down the road, I can walk home if I need to. I think I'm going to go. You want me to hold the phone for you while we do? I think I will. Okay, see you soon. Okay, guys, here we go. Headlights. Those still work. Reverse. Hey, away we go. The brakes. Oh, the brakes work. Maybe better than ever. Okay, now we're in drive. Look at this. Oh, man. It's like butter, baby. Oh, there was 2. Shifted really hard. I don't know if you heard it. Let me roll up the window. I didn't think it made a sound, but it sure went. Ooh. Okay, first gear. Oh, second gear. Oh, third gear. Oh, I think it went right to 4th. Just like a wham. Oh, man. What a beaut. I don't even know if I need to reset the adaptives. It's actually working. Oh, it feels good with the tires filled up with air, too. I think this might have fixed my problem. That means I gotta talk Taylor into letting me buy some more stuff. Got an oil leak, I think, and hopefully that cop that I just passed didn't see me holding up my phone taking a video. looks like he didn't. It sucked to get a ticket. Okay, I'm at O'Reilly's. I'm gonna run in there and let you know. So another interesting thing is now that I emptied my oil pan, you can see there's all this grit in there. And the fluid is a little bit brown. Since I only dumped out 2 quarts on that measure, and I put in probably over a gallon, it was probably a little bit low. Probably a lot a bit low. But I don't think it was leaking. Here's the old valve body. I'm going to take that apart, I think, and see what's in it. But maybe that's for another video. I might actually try and rebuild it and sell it. You just got to remount and sleeve this hole, I think, and replace the solenoid. So I can probably do it for $100, maybe less, and then maybe try and sell it for 130 or whatever as is. But let me show you all my tools now that they're inside. I had to pull that out. Some of that stuff had to come out. Kind of a big gig today. But I'm gonna edit this video now, and I think I'm gonna go grocery shopping too. And then I gotta clean out that drain pan, and I went for another cruise after we last spoke. I added another whole quart or 20 ounces of that transmission treatment, and it was still a little low after it cycled through the gears a few more times. So I filled it up again, and I almost used the whole gallon of the bottle that I bought, but not quite. There's just a splash in there still. I'm just below the level that it's supposed to be when it's max hot. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and check it again tomorrow. Ran out of daylight. But I'm gonna head to a tranny shop tomorrow to reset the computer. Right now, the shifts are consistent. 1 to 2 is okay. 2 to 3 is a clunk, like a pretty big clunk, like ugh, knock the wind out of you kind of clunk. And then 3 to 4 is not so bad of a clunk. That was pretty much exactly what was described in my instruction sheet that came with the valve body. So once I reset the computer and take it through some exercises, like it has a list. You got to do like 4 different exercises 10 times or something. And it should be smooth as butter. It feels really good. Once it's in gear, it feels great. Like super good compared to how it used to feel. So I'm looking forward to it. Signing out.